Something really strange is happening in the US housing market right now. And if you're even thinking about buying a home, or shoot, even just keeping an eye on the economy, this is something you're going to want to pay attention to. Because for the first time in years, the market isn't just moving in one direction, it's actually splitting right down the middle into two completely different realities. So, on one side, you've got these markets where homes are just sitting there for weeks, sometimes even months. You've got sellers slashing prices, inventory is just piling up, and all of a sudden, buyers have some power again. But on the other side, it's the total opposite. Homes are selling in a flash, inventory is super tight, and yes, bidding wars are still a thing. So the big question is, how is this even possible? How can one country have two completely different, totally opposite housing markets happening at the exact same time?
Well, welcome to what we're calling the Great Housing Split, and we are going to unpack this whole mystery for you right now.
It turns out the entire reason for this wild divide really just boils down to one single, super important factor. And that factor is inventory. Yep, that one word explains pretty much everything that's going on, from why prices are getting cut in one city to why there are bidding wars in another. Now, in simple terms, inventory is just what it sounds like. It's the total number of homes available for sale in any given market. It's your basic supply. And this is where things get really interesting. Right now, if you look at the South and the West Coast, inventory is rising, and it's rising fast. In a lot of states, it's already back to where it was before the pandemic, maybe even higher. But then you look over at the Midwest and the Northeast, and it is a completely different story. Inventory there is still incredibly low. And to put a number on it, in some of these Midwest and Northeast markets, inventory is down almost 50% compared to what's considered normal. I mean, that is a massive shortage, and it has huge effects on prices. Okay, so we get what's happening. It's all about inventory. But that just leads to the next big question, right? Why? Why is it piling up in some places and basically disappearing in others? Well, the answer is something that a lot of people are beginning to realize. The way we're moving around the country has changed. You see, for the last few years, all those really expensive states saw huge growth. But now, that trend is slowing way down. And in some spots, it's actually reversing. People are starting to pack up and leave those high-cost areas, and they're moving toward places where life is just more affordable. We're talking about states like Ohio, Iowa, Kentucky, and West Virginia. They are becoming the new hotspots, and it's for one very simple reason. You can afford to live there. So what does affordable actually mean here? Well, in a lot of these places, you can still find a home for under $300,000. Sometimes you can find one closer to $200,000. For people leaving expensive states, that is a huge, powerful magnet. So you see this really simple cause and effect chain. People move to these affordable spots, which naturally increases buyer demand. All that new demand then just eats up the available inventory. And when the inventory gets low, guess what? Prices stay strong, and sometimes they keep going up. But meanwhile, back in those expensive markets, the exact opposite is happening. You've got fewer buyers, which means inventory starts to rise. And we're already seeing the results. Some homeowners who bought just a couple of years ago are now actually forced to sell at a loss. That is a massive shift in how this market works. Okay, so we've got the why and we've got the why. Now let's talk about what this actually means for you. Because depending on where you live, you need a completely different playbook to handle this market. The strategies are literally polar opposites. If you're in a high inventory market, a true buyer's market, the power is finally shifting back to you. You've got leverage. You should absolutely negotiate hard, and you can take your sweet time to find the right place. But if you're in a low inventory seller's market, it's a totally different game. You have to be ready to act fast, prepare for some serious competition, and be ready for potential bidding wars. So let's pull all this together and focus on what your next move should be. If there is one single thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. In today's housing market, inventory is everything. Seriously, inventory tells you where prices are headed before you read about it in the headlines. When you see it start to rise, that's a signal prices are probably coming down. When it's low and staying low, it means prices have a ton of support. And what this all means is that you kind of have to forget the national headlines. This is not a simple one-size-fits-all national market anymore. It is intensely local. So this all comes down to the one question that really, truly matters. It's not, is the housing market going up or down? The real question you need to be asking yourself is, which market am I in? Because depending on that answer, your next move could make you or cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. And in a market this divided, that difference matters more than ever.